That's why I like the industry, because it's one of those industries, it doesn't matter what's happening in the economy, people are still spending, okay? And if people are not spending in your store, it's because you're not making them see the value of spending their dollars with you. Another thing that I move with is that, especially if you're planning to open your store in the US, there is over $2 trillion spent every day in America. $2 trillion is spent every day in America in general, okay? In the beauty industry, money is still being spent. If people are not shopping with you in your store, they're shopping elsewhere. If they're not shopping in your competitor's store, they're shopping on Amazon. They're shopping directly on the brand. They're still shopping. People are still buying braiding hair, still buying crochet hair, still buying edge control, still buying wigs. They're still buying, okay? Hey, how are you? How are you? How you doing? Are you interested in opening your own beauty supply store? Is that why we're here? Yeah, the beauty supplies industry is booming. A lot of beauty supply stores are opening up. Matter of fact, Black-owned beauty supply stores are officially on the rise. So are you part of the movement? Are you also interested in coming and taking a pie into the $17 billion industry? I hope so. Okay, I hope so. I hope that's why you're here. So I know that the industry right now, everybody's wondering like, okay, Kathy, everybody's opening their beauty supply store. My mother, my auntie, my uncle, everybody is getting into the industry. Is this still a great time to be opening a beauty supply store? Yes, and okay, yes, and it is, matter of fact, the right time to be opening your own beauty supply store, okay? If I was opening my store right now, there's a lot of things that I would put into consideration that would even make it a much better deal, okay? So if I was opening my beauty supply store now versus 5 years ago, now is actually better, okay? So I have shared my story, how I ended up getting into the beauty supply industry. When the lady that I ended up buying my space from asked me if my long-term plans included owning a beauty supply store, at that time in my head, those plans included me opening a beauty supply store in 5 years. So today is that that was my 5-year plan. I was planning to be opening a beauty supply store now. Obviously, you know that I jumped into that opportunity and I opened the beauty supply store back then with no plan, nothing. I just jumped right in. And today you'll be seeing what that would have looked like if I had opened my store in 5 years as I intended. Okay, so this will be you. So I want you to remember that when you're getting into this industry, remember everybody else is rushing into this industry. Everybody is rushing to open a beauty supply store because it's booming. Okay, beauty is something crazy happened during COVID, because that's when I opened my store. But during that time, people were spending their unemployment checks in the store, right? Like, this is money that you've received to help you with your rent, with your expenses, with food, but that money was in the store. Okay, so I was like, this is crazy. And the reason is because beauty industry is one section that does not get affected irrespective of what's happening in the economy. Irrespective if there's a recession, if people are broke, if there's no money, beauty, see me? You can see how good I look, right? It doesn't matter. And especially for women, men are gonna pay anyway. Okay, so if you have a husband, boyfriend, dad, men will work twice as hard to make sure that you're taken care of. Okay, so women are the consumers in the industry, but they don't even have to have the money. Somebody else will foot that bill. Okay, all right, so that's what I found out. So yeah, getting the industry. Okay, this is an industry that's not crashing. So open. Okay, but listen, when you're opening your store, please remember that we are playing chess, not checkers, okay? Don't come here playing checkers. Chess, okay? I want you to have plans, okay? Have plans that are past your grand opening, okay? So while you're opening a store and it's exciting, just remember that's step one, okay? Once you've opened your store, step one. Now, after your beauty supply store is open, after you've done your grand opening, you're just like any other beauty supply store out there. There is no difference between you and your competitor. On day one, you're all the same, okay? But how do you differentiate yourself from being just any other beauty supply store? When people were comparing my store with my competitor who's 5 minutes away, that used to piss me off because I was like, wait, but I'm black owned. People are not going to shop with you because you're black owned. Sorry. Nah. Just being black owned is not going to cut it. Be black owned and competitive pricing, giving advice on hair. You know the hair, you know the product. Like, do more, okay? That's what I'm saying. The real money is in positioning yourself as a brand owner, as someone who knows what they're selling. If people come to your store, like I've shared this before, when I was new in the industry, I didn't know that there was a mousse called Nairobi, but I had worked with someone who helped me open my store. So I did have Nairobi mousse on my shelf. I just didn't know what it was. So this customer walked in and she's like, I'm looking for mousse. And I was showing her where the mousse was, and it was like on a row, and I had not reached to where Nairobi was because I was like pointing like this. And she just went straight to where Nairobi was, and she picked it up and she told me, how are you selling something you don't even know? This is Nairobi mousse. And she was very rude to me, right? And I was very pissed. I'm not gonna lie. I was very, very pissed. So anyway, I checked her out, and off her merry way she went. Then I went back and looked at that product and was like, oh, it says Nairobi. And here's the kicker. I'm from Kenya officially. Like, I was born in Kenya. Nairobi is the capital city of my country. So I was like, you mean there was a product called Nairobi? And I had no clue. And this customer checked me. She was like, you have a beauty supply store. You don't even know the products. What's the difference between you and the other people who are selling products who don't know what they are? So that's why you can't just be black owned. You also have to know the products. And she checked me. And even though I was pissed off that day, she opened my eyes. I started learning the products in the beauty supply industry. And if you don't know the products, you can buy my inventory list because I do explain products that way. Or you can also sign up to my course. I have a course called the Product Knowledge course where I teach beauty supply products. I teach you what they are, what they are used for, when a client has this problem, what products to recommend. I teach all that so that you can be able to know the products that you're selling in your store, okay? All right. If you just focus on shelves and sales, just whatever is on your shelf and then selling them, that's still, I know it's still a step up, right? It's still a step up, but you can do more, okay? You can do more for your store. So I want us to go over, let me see how many points I have here. I have 7 points. I'm going to be very quick with them, but I'll make sure you kind of understand them. But then if you want me to go deeper, just feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Also, you can email me here and we can talk more. And if you want to just book a call with me, I have a call. You can book for $100, or we're going to have a strategy meeting. It's $99.99. Or you can buy my vendor list, which I sell for $297, and you will get a complimentary clarity call. Okay, strategy call. Let's call it that way. Anyway, so the first step that we'll be looking at will be the location versus market saturation. I'm not gonna lie, there's some areas where people reach out to me saying they want to open a beauty supply store, and I'm like, I think that market is a bit saturated right now, okay? So I want you to look at the demand in your area, okay? If there's a lot of beauty supply stores in your area, unless you're a stylist who's gonna be having a retail side of beauty supply store and you're still gonna be running your salon, or your makeup artist will be running a beauty supply store and, you know, having your makeup studio, or like a lady that I worked with last year who has an art studio and she was converting it, adding some beauty supply items. If you're not going to be something else other than a beauty supply store, don't bother getting into the market. Okay, don't be bothered. If it's too saturated, just leave. If it's too saturated but you are bringing something unique in the market, yes, absolutely, go for it. I'm gonna support that. Okay, so being in a crowded area might seem like a smart business move, right? Yeah, it's crowded, there's a lot of beauty supply stores, there's a lot of customers, things are looking great, but sometimes underserved neighborhoods are also hidden gold, right? Like for me, for example, my space doesn't have a lot of Black consumers, right? Like I will honestly say it's about 50-50, right? So, some places are like 90% Black and then like 10% Hispanic and Caucasian. Mine is pretty much almost 50-50. I would say like maybe 60-40, right? Like if I'm saying, yeah, most of my clients are Black and African American, but I also get a lot of Caucasian and Hispanic. Okay, so those underserved markets are also a hidden gem. I have said this before. We have beauty supply stores where we can buy things. Caucasians and Hispanics, they have to buy either online or buy with their stylist, which sometimes is very expensive. Things like clip-ins, where I sell them for $150 or $250 depending on the length, they buy with their stylist for like $400 to $600. So I'm still way affordable. So I'm serving a very important market. Okay. All right, so location versus market saturation. Look into those and see how your beauty supply store would be fitting in that section. Okay, the second point that I want us to look at will be the unique angle or differentiation. This is literally where I sing. If there's a video where I have not mentioned about opening a beauty supply store and do something else, I'll be surprised. I sing about this every single time. You have to differentiate yourself from the market. You have to stand out. You have to have a reason why the consumer should be shopping with you. Okay? I've said this multiple times and I'll keep repeating it because it is just that very important. And if you're wondering like, Kathy, I don't know, I'm a bit torn. How do I book a call? Come on, it's only $100. Book a call. Let's talk. Let's strategize. Let's see how you can be able to stand up in your market. Okay, stand out. Okay. So if you're just selling products and you're not offering any experience, any sip and shop, any pop-up stores, any back-to-school deals, any stylist codes, coupons, church coupons, seniors, if you're not offering something, you're missing the whole point. Okay, think about exclusive hair brands. Okay, think about Black-owned lines. A lot of Black-owned products, brands don't have distribution. Some of these small companies, they can go into B sales and Genies. They're not picking everyone, right? So allow them to sell in your store. I have like 3 Black-owned brands that they have space in my store where they're not in like any other they're not in like many beauty supply stores, right? They're not like your regular, the Sheer Moisture or the Curls or the Luster Pink. They're not like those big, like Black Panther is actually very in many areas, but the smaller ones, offer them your shelf space, right? There are people who they want to shop Black-owned beauty supply stores, but then specifically they want to only shop Black-owned brands, hair care brands. So if you have a section where you're also allowing these stores that are like on TikTok or they're selling on their Shopify stores, reach out to them and ask them if they would like to have a shelf space in your store. And then have a section for Black-owned brands, and then if you create that, reach out to me because, I say that I'm launching a hair care brand and a skincare brand. I want to be on your shelf, right? Are you going to allow me to be on your shelf? Yeah, so I'm advocating for Black-owned beauty supply stores to create spaces for Black-owned hair care brands and skincare brands. And so because there's a group of people that want to shop Black only. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a preference, right? We prefer like I can prefer to eat Chipotle, or I can prefer to eat McDonald's over Burger King. Okay, there's nothing wrong with our preference. And if you can cater to that preference, you're doing well. Okay, you can also do influencer partnerships. There's a store that I'm working with right now. She's opening online first, so she's not going into the physical space right away, but she's partnering with influencers, and I thought that was genius. Okay, I have partnered with not really influencers, but with high school students in my area. So the popular high school girls, I've partnered with them to produce content for my store and recommend products for my store. And I was about to do live stream shopping or selling on TikTok with them, but then just because they were underage, like they were under 18, I felt like putting them on live TikTok would not be great. But yeah, that's something you can consider, especially if you have teenagers. Like if my girls were teenagers already, I would have done that with them, but they're small. My kids are still small. So that's an option that you can also look into. Then point 3 would be cash flow and startup costs. Guys, you guys are losing. Somebody just told me that they spent $20,000 with a consultant who did not deliver it for them. Like, what? Then another one told me that she spent $48,000 with this consulting company and nothing happened. I'm like, what is going on? Why are you guys spending that much money? Like, seriously, for a startup, somebody is lying to you. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm actually gonna make a video about it, because that is a lot of money to lose when you're starting out your store. I know they promise that they'll give you funding. Let me just tell you the truth. There's no magic in getting funding. Okay, there's no secret way of getting funding. It's build your business credit. And if you work with me, I give you the template to build your business credit. Build your personal credit, okay? And then look into getting personal loans. If you have a house, you can do the what is it called? HELOC, the loan where you take loan out of the equity of your house. Just be creative, okay? This is what these guys are telling you. They're gonna still do that. Somebody told me that this company opened 6 credit cards under their name and then emptied those credit cards out, and that money is gone, poof, in thin air, and she's now still paying the credit cards. So I don't want to talk more about how those startups costs are going over the roof because of mistakes, but there's also the trend of paying rent on a space that you don't have. If you're paying rent right now and your store is not open, can you reach out to me right now? This is my email. Let's get that store open, because what? Why would you paying rent in a space that you're not making money on, right? I don't want that. Let's not waste money on rent. Inventory, please do not go buy inventory that you don't know is gonna sell. I have an inventory list that you can buy, so that you buy specifically the things that sell in a beauty supply. So that's why I have the inventory list. Please reach out to me. Staff, if you're planning to hire someone in your store, it is what it is. But if there's a way for you to even get a job in the morning and then be in your store from like 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., I want you to learn how the store is run. I want you to be there when the store is busy. I want you to be able to still be in your store even though someone else is running your store, okay? I want you to learn the business, okay? You cannot employ someone to work in your store if you don't even know what happens in your store, okay? At least put some hours in there. I worked a whole year in my store, okay? So I know what I'm talking about. And then insurance, have insurance. I did a video where I was talking about shoplifting, and I said how sometimes insurance would cover shoplifting or breaking into. Those are things you need to talk about with your insurance company. My store was broken into, I think after the first year in business. Somebody broke into my store, and it was a pain dealing with insurance with that, okay? Someone else also told me that an employee was stealing from their store, and insurance was able to pay her for the theft that was incurred with the employee in the store. So some insurance are flexible and some are a pain. So yeah, I don't sell insurance, but I can help you figure out a good insurance for your business, okay? All right. And then many stores bleed a lot of money in their first year in business. I have literally made a whole video of that, of how businesses lose money in their first year in business. So you can go watch that video. But if you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you want to work with me, again, my email, links, everything will all be down there for you. Okay. So I'll go to the next point. Point 4, supplier relationships. I have mentioned multiple times how I spend a lot of time maintaining relationships with suppliers. Okay. I work with them a lot. Okay. It is a pain, but it is business. Okay. This is business. If you're going to be in this industry, you will have to create those relationships with the suppliers. You need to know who you're buying from. You need to see if you can get better pricing. Matter of fact, I don't know if I can, I'll see if I can find that screenshot, but a company was selling to me something. They told me that thing was $9 wholesale. And then I went online and I found the product on a like popular online beauty supply store website, and that thing was selling for $12.99. So I told this person, if you sell this thing to me for $9, because normally we times 2 the price, I would be selling it for $17.99, basically $18, right? But my competitor online is already selling it for $12.99. What would make someone spend over $6 with me while they can get it cheaper? And this person was like, oh, well, maybe I can lower the price. I can maybe do $7. I ended up paying $6.50 for that per unit of that thing that I was buying. It was crochet hair. And I was now selling it for, I think, $13.99, which is $1 more than what's it's selling online. And I could see a consumer or a customer buying from me for $1 extra and get it right away instead of waiting for shipping. Okay, that was the only benefit with that. So you can always negotiate the price. Even though the vendor gives you the price, you can always still negotiate it. Okay, don't take it for what it is. Sometimes they have better deals with other people and sometimes not. So that's why I negotiate the price they give me all the time. I negotiate a better price. You also want to negotiate some type of exclusivity. So like I've mentioned in the previous point, where you can be working with a black-owned brand, you can ask for exclusivity in your like 10-mile radius or like 20-mile radius, because they don't have anybody else who's selling that product. In the event somebody else ends up reaching out to them, try and see if you can get some type of exclusivity, because you're the first one to give them a chance to be in your store and you want them to be kind of loyal to you, right? For example, there's also this other company that I'm working with that sells perfume oils. I actually negotiated exclusivity for the state that I'm in. So in my state, nobody else can sell that product because I can ship and they can come get it from me. So I negotiated that because nobody else was selling them in store. Okay. Also, you can negotiate early access. So this happens a lot, especially on like hard to find products. Like when pink lemon hair is nowhere to be seen, guess who always has it? Me. Because I always negotiate early access. I negotiate to get that hair ahead of time. Okay. There's a lot of things that go into that. You might have to pay ahead of time. You might have to give them a deposit so that they can ship your product fast. There's a lot of things that you can do, but if you can get early access to a trending product, you'll be golden. Okay. All right, and then we'll do number 5, marketing and visibility. I have mentioned this in a previous video. People are not marketing their stores. Okay, I don't know what is going on, but why are you not marketing your stores? Why are you not doing some type of marketing, some type of social media? Why are you not letting customers know? If you're struggling, why don't you reach out to me? Why don't you let me help you with your marketing? Why don't you use our content planner so they can be able to run your marketing side of the business? Okay. All right. Visibility. We've talked about visibility, especially with where you put the location of your store. Opening your door is just not enough. You have to attract foot traffic. You have to have social media that's buzzing. Try and do viral content. Try and collaborate with influencers. Do a lot of community engagement. This is not optional. I've mentioned in previous videos how to do community engagement, but if you want me to like dive deep into community engagement, I don't mind. Just leave a comment and I'll do that. Okay. Because these things are required. Okay. gone are the days where you can just open a business and just chill and wait for people to walk in. You have to do way more than that, okay? And then the sixth point is scaling and exit strategy. So I have mentioned this before, and I think a lot of you get surprised to hear that I am phasing out my beauty supply store and moving more into wholesaling. And I don't know why it surprises you, because I didn't get into the beauty supply industry to continue being a beauty supply store owner, right? I got in because at that point, that's exactly what I wanted. But it's been 5 years now, and I'm changing that. I'm moving into something else. And there's nothing wrong with pivoting and changing your plans and switching things up, right? Like I mentioned before, I'm launching a hair care brand and I'm launching a skincare brand. So I am still in the industry, but I'm moving, right? I've mentioned how I'm planning to do wholesaling, and I'm trying to get funding for new beauty supply stores where they can get funding, and then we can pay the vendor the funding amount, then they can get the inventory. So it's still work in progress, but we're working, right? Like I'm moving out of being a beauty supply store owner and like being in a better place where I can continue to be in the industry, but also be of bigger impact, right? And then I have also talked about e-commerce. So people need to start selling online. You don't have to have your own website, but it's beneficial to have that. This is what I'm doing in my beauty supply store in Africa. I have a website, and also private labeling. I've talked about that, launching your own products. That's what I'm doing. There's also manufacturing. So if you have like the big funds, you can get into manufacturing, because a lot of beauty supply stores now are looking into launching their own private label. So if you're watching this video and you're like, I want to get into the industry, but I don't want to open a beauty supply store, what else can I open? Why don't you consider opening a manufacturing plant, or have a way where people can launch their own hair care brands through you, like I know there's a manufacturing company, black owned manufacturing company is it Wisconsin? I'm not sure. I was gonna work with them, but it didn't work out. But yeah, so there's different ways that you can get into the industry, okay? If you don't have a long-term vision in this industry, you'll stay stuck, okay? You have to have long-term vision. You have to have short-term goals, like small goals, like a year from now, 3 years from now. And then you want to start also having long-term goals about you in the industry, like 5-year plans, 10-year plans. What are your plans in the industry? What are you looking to achieve being in the beauty supply industry, okay? And then the last point that I'll leave you with is the compliance and risk management. So compliance obviously is having the right licenses, having, doing your taxes properly. If you're launching products, the product safety, FDA recommendations. If you have employees, the employee laws. There's the withholding taxes. There's the employee compliance. There's a lot of things that you should be looking into. So just don't look at the business side and completely forget about the compliance side, because one single mistake in compliance can completely shut down your business, and that's a lot of money to waste when you get shut down because of a stupid mistake, okay? So I want you guys to consider a lot of those pointers that I gave, because if you're opening a beauty supply store, don't just hope for success. I want you to strategize and make sure that every move that you're making in the industry is a chess move, and that you're building yourself for long-term success. Location, suppliers, branding, marketing, scaling. What is the plan, right? I know there's beauty supply stores where you're planning to franchise, do franchising and have other beauty supply stores copy your business model and go launch in different locations. I know there are people who are opening beauty supply stores to be legacy, where your kids get to inherit the business. So there is a lot of other scaling options for your business. There's also exit strategies. There are people who are ending up to sell their businesses for whatever reason, maybe a health reason, moving out of state, or just getting into a different market. And there's also pivoting, you know, where you move from one style of business into another style of business. So there's nothing wrong with whatever path you choose, but I just want you to know that yes, this is the right time to open your beauty supply store, but there's a lot of things that need to be considered before just opening the doors and letting people come in. Okay, so again, I have shared a lot of how I can be able to help you with your goals. This is my email once more, and it will also be in the comment section. I would really love to talk with you. You can also book a call with me to strategize on how you can get into the industry. Or if you already know you want to open a beauty supply store, you can go ahead and buy the vendor list, and then you'll get an opportunity to book a call with me. It's going to be a complimentary call, so I won't charge you for that. It's just a bonus when you buy the vendor list. As of right now, it's not going to be there, you know, for forever. It's just an offer that I have right now. And if things change, then the call will no longer be there, but as of right now it's there. So okay, all right, it was so great that I got to share this information. If you think there's anyone who'll be able to benefit with this information, send it to them. If you know, maybe your auntie or your mom or your daughter wants to open a beauty supply store, send them this video. Let them see the video so that they know if this really is the industry that they want to get into. Okay, all right, have a good one. See you next time. Bye.